This is a fascinating catfight. The President of the United States against Bill O'Reilly. Now, apparently it's this new tradition where the President goes and talks to the network that's carrying the Super Bowl in their pregame coverage. In this case, it's Fox, so that he goes talks to Fox News. And Bill O'Reilly is the big chief over there and Grand Poobah, and so he sat down with Bill O'Reilly. It's obvious that O'Reilly had it in his mind that we're going to do a face-off here, okay? It's O versus O, Obama versus O'Reilly. And that he was going to keep interrupting him because he was going to put him on the spot because that's the kind of tough guy O'Reilly is. All right, God bless. So one of the questions was about Obamacare. That was one of the topics. Well, that makes sense. That's in the news. Some Democrats are complaining, oh, that's already old news. That was 3 months ago. No, nonsense. We're still rolling out Obamacare. Of course you ask about that. Now, number 2 topic was Benghazi. Go. Okay, this tired old topic that is absolutely much ado about nothing, except nobody's doing anything about it except Fox News, but he's on Fox News, so O'Reilly's going to bring it up. Let's see how it goes.
Did he tell you, Secretary Panetta, it was a terrorist attack?
You know, what he told me was that there was an attack on our compound.
He didn't use the word terror?
You know, in the heat of the moment, Bill, what folks are focused on is what's happening on the ground. Do we have eyes on it? How can we make sure our folks are secure?
But I just want to get this on the record. Did he tell you it was a terror attack?
Bill, and what I'm answering your question. What he said to me was, we've got an attack on our compound. We don't know yet who's doing it. Understand, by definition, Bill, when somebody is attacking our compound, that's an act of terror, which is how I characterized it the day after it happened. So the question ends up being, who in fact was attacking us?
But your commanders and the Secretary of Defense know it's a terror attack. No, Bill, as an American, I'm just confused.
And I'm trying to explain it to you if you want to listen.
A lot of people are talking about how he's like, Bill, let me explain it to you. But to me, the substance is more important. So in this case, he's like, wait, did they call it a terrorist attack? Was it an act of terrorism? How many different versions of the word terror did they use? Now, to be fair, Obama doesn't seem to want to answer the question directly, so he doesn't get into the whole terror thing. But I don't care, and I'll tell you why I don't care. Not because I want to protect Obama. If you watch the show, you know that I do no such thing. It's because, as Obama said there, he's right. The next day, he called it an act of terror. Okay, check. Like, this whole thing's about, like, oh, did you call it a terrorism or you didn't call it terrorism? Well, he called it an act of terror the next day. No, I know that they sent Susan Rice out there to say that it was about, the attack was partly about the movie, that crazy, stupid movie that came about Muhammad, and that people had been upset about that. I thought that was a little BS. You go back and watch the tapes, I said that. But I might have been wrong, because there was a great New York Times article explaining that, in fact, the attacks were partly inspired by that. So what's the issue here? How many hours after the attack that they called it an act of terror? Did it have to do with the movie, or was it inspired by just sheer terrorism? And as President Obama pointed out there, what's that distinction? Any attack is kind of an act of terror, so what? I don't even understand what the freaking controversy is at this point. Like, if you say, hey, you know what, they should have protected that compound better, well, President Obama agrees with you. Everybody agrees with you. And he said during the interview at one point that they're going through a concerted effort to make sure, obviously, that this never happens again, and that we have better security at all those compounds, right? But if you're attacking him for what words he used, because it was going to help his campaign, that just seems to be unwarranted. But nonetheless, O'Reilly can't let it go, so he's going to continue.
What ends up happening is we end up creating a political agenda on something
and that was my next question.
Democrats and Republicans should be unified in trying to figure out how are we going to protect people.
I got to get to the IRS, but I just want to say that your detractors believe that you did not tell the world it was a terror attack because your campaign didn't want that out.
Bill,
that's what they believe.
And they believe it because folks like you are telling them that.
No, I'm not telling them that. I'm asking you whether you were told it was a terror attack.
And what I'm saying is that is inaccurate.
All right.
We revealed to the American people exactly what we understood at the time. The notion that we would hide the ball for political purposes when a week later we all said, in fact, there was a terrorist attack taking place the day after I said it was an act of terror, that wouldn't be a very good cover-up.
To my two favorite parts of that, don't worry, I'm going to get to the other irrelevant topic of the IRS in a second. Okay, but your detractors say this. Really, Bill, who would his detractors be? So I love that Obama actually called him out on it and said, no, that would be you. You're the one telling him that. Because of course, and he's like, no, me. I'm just asking you a question. Like we didn't see you talk about Benghazi nonstop on your show over and over again? Please. So this is all much ado about nothing. But if you think that's irrelevant, wait till you get to the stupid IRS issue. But before we do that, Senator Inhofe, he's a senator, can you believe that? United States Senator, is going to go on and talk about Benghazi and how important it is in this O'Reilly interview. Well, Senator Inhofe, please tell us.
Well, it's just an outrageous lie, and it's kind of hard to call it anything else. It's kind of like Obamacare and the things that he said in the beginning and now is denying. Well, in that case, John Brennan's the CIA director, James Clapper's the director of intelligence, Leon Panetta was the Secretary of Defense at that time. All three of them, the day it happened, it was actually the morning of the 12th, said that it was an organized terrorist attack, and they told the president that. And I think I applaud, I didn't see the segment you're talking about, but I applaud Bill O'Reilly if he tried to press him on that. That, and I will say this to my dying day, I know people don't realize it now, but that's going to go down in history as the greatest cover-up. And I'm talking about compared to the Pentagon Papers, Iran-Contra, Watergate, and the rest of them. This was a cover-up in order for people right before the election to think that there was no longer a problem with terrorism in the Middle East.
Yeah, this will go down, right there with Waterloo, when Napoleon crashed his troops there, Stalingrad, all of the giant defeats, the cover-ups, all the controversies throughout the world. I mean, this is gigantic. Remember when Caesar crossed the Rubicon? This is slightly more important. Okay, and what was it again? That he didn't call it a terrorist attack on the first day, he called it an act of terror on the second day. Oh, come on. You know, it's gotten to the point where conservatives, they don't even know what they're mad about. They just have these code words that get them all riled up and the hair on the back of their neck stands up and they're like, Solyndra, IRS, Benghazi. What happened in Benghazi? It's either terror, something. God damn Obama, Benghazi. It's like, reminds me of Seinfeld in the old days. Costanza, Newman, Benghazi. Okay. All right, like I said, the only controversy dumber is the IRS one. Now, understand before we go into this line of questioning, even though Fox News keeps talking about it, it has been absolutely proven that the guy at the IRS who ordered this was actually a conservative. And he looked into conservative groups and liberal groups. And in fact, none of the conservative groups were, after the scrutiny, ran into any issues at all. The only group that ran into an issue was a progressive group. It is the exact opposite of a controversy. Okay, there's no controversy whatsoever. Nonetheless, here we go.
Former IRS chief, he was cleared into the White House 157 times, more than any of your cabinet members, more than any other IRS guy in the history by far. Okay, why was Douglas Shulman here 157 times? Why?
Mr. Shulman, as the head of the IRS, is constantly coming in because at the time we were trying to set up the healthcare.gov. And the
what did
IRS,
he have to do with that?
The IRS is involved in making sure that that works as part of the overall healthcare team.
So it was all healthcare?
Number two, we've also got the IRS involved when it comes to some of the financial reforms to make sure that we don't have taxpayer-funded bailouts in the future. So you had all these different agendas in which the head of the IRS is naturally involved.
Why did the head of the IRS come to the White House all the time? Why did the chicken cross the street? He's the head of the IRS. He's going to go to the White House all the time. What the hell does that prove? So you see, it must have been a cover-up. No, I don't see. That's what he does. That's his freaking job. Go and coordinate with the White House on policies involving the IRS. What in the world does that prove? This is so monumentally stupid. And the real question for me, and this is the crux of the interview and how it went and what it means for the rest of Obama's term, was the question of whether Obama was finally going to stand up for himself or not. That's why this story in the end is interesting. Because he gets pushed around by these guys, and you see he gets a little testy throughout the interview. But is he going to finally stand up and say, God damn it, this isn't real, right? Or is he going to do more of the genuflecting and, okay, I'm sorry, but we should have handled it better. So let's find out.
What some people are saying is that the IRS was used at a local level in Cincinnati, maybe other places, to go after.
Absolutely wrong.
But how do you know that? Because we still don't know what happened there.
Bill, we do. That's not what happened. Folks have, again, had multiple hearings on this. I mean, these kinds of things keep on surfacing, in part because you and your TV station will promote them. But when
don't
folks
you feel
actually
there are unanswered questions?
Bill, when you actually look at the stuff, there have been multiple hearings on it.
So you're saying
if
there was
no
corruption there at all? No.
That's not what I'm saying. That's actually...
No, but I want to know what you're saying. You're the leader of the country.
Absolutely.
You're saying no corruption?
No.
None?
No. There were some boneheaded decisions out of a
but
local
no
office.
mass corruption?
Not even mass corruption. Not even a smidgen of corruption.
Okay.
Ah, thanks God, as my mom would say, thanks God. Finally, he said, not even a smidgen of corruption. No, the only reason, I love when O'Reilly's like, some people are saying. That's why I loved it when Obama was like, no, not some people. You and your station are saying it. There's already been the investigations. It's been cleared. There's not even a smidgen of corruption. There you go. That's a strong answer. Unfortunately, for 5 years, we didn't get good, clear, strong answers like that. That was one right there. Bless his heart. Maybe it's a sign of good things to come. Maybe it's a sign that he'll be a little bit stronger as we go along. I know. I'm stretching and I'm hoping, right? But hey, at least that went well, and he didn't get bullied by Bill O'Reilly. I'll take my wins where I can get them. So nicely done, President Obama.